Once upon a quacktastic morning in the cheerful town of Puddleburg, USA, where the sun twinkled like a giant lemon drop in the sky, there lived a curious little duckling named Dazzle. Unlike his fluffy siblings, who splashed and paddled in Muddy Duck Pond without a care, Dazzle was a thinker. His bright orange beak twitched with questions, and today, one big question bobbed in his brain like a rubber ball. Why do ducks float on water and not sink like a rock? Puddleburg was no ordinary town. It was a place where frogs wore tiny bow ties, trees giggled when you tickled their bark, and every pond shimmered with secrets waiting to be discovered. Dazzle, with his shiny yellow feathers and a detective hat he'd found in a picnic basket, decided it was time for an adventure, a science-y, quack-tacular adventure, to solve the floating mystery. "Quack, quack, let's crack this case," Dazzle chirped, waddling toward the pond with a notebook made of lily pads and a twig pencil tucked behind his ear. His best friend, Bouncy the bullfrog, hopped alongside, his green cheeks puffing with excitement. "What's the plan, Detective Dazzle?" Bouncy croaked. "Are we hunting for treasure or chasing a water monster?" "No monsters today, Bouncy," Dazzle said, adjusting his hat. "We're gonna figure out why I float like a feather, but rocks plop to the bottom. It's a science expedition." Their first stop was the edge of Muddy Duck Pond, where the water sparkled like a mirror full of stars. Dazzle dipped a webbed foot in and watched himself glide effortlessly. He muttered, scribbling in his notebook. "I'm not sinking. But why?" He looked at Bouncy, who was trying to balance a pebble on his nose. The pebble fell with a sploosh and sank straight down. "See?" Dazzle said. "Rocks don't float, but ducks do. There's a clue here." Bouncy scratched his head. "Maybe you're magic, Dazzle, like a wizard duck." Dazzle giggled. "Magic's cool, but I bet it's science. Let's ask someone who knows water better than anyone." So, off they went to find Wanda the Wise Water Lily, the pond's resident know-it-all, who floated gracefully near a patch of cattails. Wanda's pink petals glowed in the sunlight, and her voice was as smooth as a lullaby. "Well, hello, little adventurers," she said. "What brings you to my corner of the pond?" Dazzle puffed out his chest. "Wanda, why do I float on water while rocks sink? Is it my feathers? My beak? My super cool hat?" Wanda chuckled, her leaves rustling like tiny bells. "Oh, Dazzle, it's not your hat, though it is fabulous. It's all about something called buoyancy. You float because you're less dense than water. Your body is full of air pockets, like tiny balloons inside you, and your feathers trap air, too. That makes you light and floaty, while rocks are heavy and dense, so they sink." Dazzle's eyes widened. "Air pockets? Like I'm a duck-shaped hot air balloon?" "Exactly," Wanda said. "Plus, your feathers are coated with a special oil from a gland near your tail. That oil makes you waterproof, so water slides right off, keeping you nice and buoyant." Bouncy bounced up and down. "Whoa! So Dazzle's like a walking, quacking lifeboat?" Dazzle scribbled furiously in his notebook. "Air pockets, oily feathers, buoyancy, got it! But I want to see the science in action. Let's do an experiment." Wanda pointed a petal toward a pile of objects near the shore. "Over there, you'll find things to test. Acorns, sticks, and a rubber ball from a human picnic. Try them in the water and see what floats." Dazzle and Bouncy raced to the pile, their excitement bubbling like soda pop. First, they tossed an acorn into the pond. Plunk! It sank like a grumpy turtle. Next, they tried a stick. It bobbed happily on the surface. "Aha!" Dazzle quacked. "The stick floats because it's light and has air inside, like me." Finally, they chucked the rubber ball, which bounced on the water before floating like a cheerful beach ball. Bouncy clapped his webbed feet. "This is the best science party ever. But what if we make something sink that's supposed to float?" Dazzle's beak curled into a mischievous grin. "Great idea. Let's test my detective hat." He took off his prized hat and placed it gently on the water. It floated for a moment, then started to soak up water and tip sideways. "Oh no!" Dazzle cried, diving in to save it. He shook the hat dry and laughed. Okay, lesson learned. Hats aren't as waterproof as ducks. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of bubblegum pink and tangerine orange, Dazzle and Bouncy sat by the pond, munching on cattail snacks. Dazzle flipped through his notebook, now filled with drawings of floating sticks, sinking acorns, and a soggy hat. So, he said, I float because my body's full of air, my feathers are oily, and I'm less dense than water. Science is awesome. Bouncy burped, sending a tiny bubble into the air. You're awesome, Dazzle. You solved the mystery and threw a pond party. Dazzle blushed, his feathers fluffing up. Thanks, Bouncy. But there's tons more to discover. Like, why do frogs hop so high? Or why does the moon look like a giant cookie at night? Wanda, overhearing, winked. One mystery at a time, little duck. Puddleberg's full of secrets for curious minds like yours. That night, as fireflies danced like tiny lanterns, Dazzle paddled across the pond, feeling as light as a cloud. He looked at his reflection and quacked proudly. Floating's not just for ducks, it's for anyone who loves a good adventure and a splash of science. And so, in the magical town of Puddleberg, Dazzle's question led to a day of laughter, learning, and a little bit of soggy hat chaos. The pond shimmered with new possibilities, waiting for the next big question to ripple through. If you loved Dazzle's quacktastic adventure, give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more tales from Puddleberg.